Thank you, James, and also thank you, Sam, for inviting me back here to lovely Dubai. Allow me to at least say a few words to set the stage for what we're going to go through here today. And I actually think that the tagline explains it pretty well. Be resilient, be smart, and be ready. And I think that encapsulates both the current situation and what is ahead of us. Resilience, we could talk at length about what happened in the past years during the pandemic disruptions, especially in this region right now. We don't have to. We can just look at what is going on in the southern parts of the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. If anything, this industry, the entire supply chain industry, is indeed demonstrating its resilience. Despite the largest disruption to global trade lanes, essentially since the late 1960s, and yet cargo is still moving. We're getting it done. That's part of the resiliency. But then there's the be smart. That relates to not just technology. Yes, technology is a key part of it, the software part, the hardware part, but just as importantly, how do we implement it? How do we use it in the daily workings of the supply chain? How do we train our people to actually use it and embrace it? I think those are some of the key themes we should be discussing here today. And then in terms of being ready, there are several things to be ready for. Do we have the tools? Do we have the technologies? Not at a concept stage, but at a stage where it is being practically implemented and actually used. And again, this is a key theme I want to explore throughout the day into these events. I mean, James, we met up, 8-9 years ago? And even prior to that, there has always been a lot of talk about the promise of what technology can do to the supply chain and transportation sector. I want to talk more about not what is promised for the future, but what is already here today, what is working and what is going to be taken up. And this region is a good place to do it because quite a few of the concepts that were talked about, say 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, are actually being implemented and tested, especially in this region. So we have this nexus of we are in a region that is likely going to be the largest growing region when it comes to the needs for supply chain and logistics services, and at the same time a region where increasingly some of these new smart technologies are indeed being tested out and implemented. So I think this bears for an extremely interesting conversation over the day. Now, on the topic of the new world and new technology, I just want to mention that just as with the preceding conferences from TLME, this is being filmed, not to be broadcast live right now, but to be used for post-production. And at least the experience I've seen from the last few conferences is this does actually result in some very, very nice snippets that can be used both internally in own organizations, can be used for clients, and most importantly in these days, on social media as well.